Have you ever wondered what canine rabies is? Well, let's delve into it. Rabies is a deadly viral disease that seizes the nervous system of mammals, with dogs being particularly susceptible. This virus is a silent invader, creeping in undetected, and by the time it makes its presence known, it's often too late. Once symptoms appear, the disease is almost always fatal. It's a grim picture, but it's one we must face squarely. After all, knowledge is power. By understanding what rabies is and how it works, we can arm ourselves with the tools to protect not just our beloved pets, but ourselves as well. So where does this virus come from? How does it spread? What signs should we look out for? And most importantly, what can we do to prevent it? Join us as we explore these questions in the coming scenes. Understanding canine rabies can help us protect our furry friends and ourselves better. A microscopic invader is responsible for this deadly disease. This invader is none other than the rabies virus, a member of the Lyssavirus genus. The structure of this virus is an intricate design of nature with a bullet-like shape that's built for invasion. Its outer layer, or the envelope, is studded with proteins that help the virus attach to and enter the cells of its host, in this case our canine friends. Inside the envelope, we find a single strand of RNA, the genetic blueprint of the virus. This RNA is guarded by a protein shell, and it's this RNA that takes over the host cell's machinery to replicate itself, multiplying the virus within the dog's body. Once the virus enters a dog's body, typically through a bite from an infected animal, it doesn't immediately cause disease. Instead, it begins a stealthy journey, traveling through the nerves from the bite site to the dog's brain. This trip can take anywhere from days to months, depending on various factors like the severity of the bite and the proximity to the brain. Once in the brain, the rabies virus causes severe inflammation, a condition known as encephalitis. This inflammation leads to the death of nerve cells, which in turn causes the disruption of normal brain functions. The virus then travels down the nerves to the salivary glands, where it can be transmitted to another host through a bite. The damage to the nervous system manifests in the erratic behavior we associate with rabies. Infected dogs may show signs of aggression, restlessness, and even paralysis. These signs are a consequence of the havoc that the rabies virus wreaks on the dog's brain and nervous system. The science behind canine rabies is a study in the ruthless efficiency of a viral invader. It's a stark reminder of the delicate balance that exists within our pets' bodies and how easily that balance can be disrupted by a single microscopic entity. This invasion and damage to the nervous system lead to the typical signs of rabies. Understanding this process is critical in recognizing and preventing this fatal disease. How can you tell if a dog has rabies? The signs may surprise you. Rabies in dogs manifests in a series of phases, each with its own distinct symptoms. The first phase is the prodromal phase, typically lasting 2 to 3 days. In this stage, the virus begins to attack the dog's nervous system, causing subtle changes. You might notice your furry friend behaving unusually. They may seem nervous or anxious and even show signs of fear. There's often a change in the tone of their bark, and they might lose their appetite or have difficulty swallowing. As the disease progresses, it enters the furious phase. This is the stage that most people associate with rabies, and it's where the symptoms become more alarming. Dogs may become unusually aggressive, even attacking objects, other animals, or even their own body. They might display erratic behavior such as aimless running and seem disoriented or restless. At this stage, the dog may also become overly responsive to visual or auditory stimuli, reacting with exaggerated movements. Finally, we have the paralytic or dumb phase. At this point, the virus has severely damaged the dog's nervous system. The dog may appear as if it's choking due to paralysis of the throat and jaw muscles. Salivation increases and the dog might have difficulty breathing. Eventually, this paralysis spreads to other parts of the body, leading to the dog's collapse and, sadly, death. Behavioral changes are key to identifying a potential case of rabies. Dogs might become unusually quiet or the total opposite, exhibiting extreme aggression. They may show an uncharacteristic fear of water, known as hydrophobia, or start eating non-food items, a behavior known as pica. Remember, not all dogs will show every symptom or progress through all the phases in the same way. It's a complex disease that can present differently in each case. Noticing these symptoms early can be crucial for preventing the spread of the disease. Rabies isn't a disease that dogs can just catch from the air. It's a severe viral infection that primarily spreads through close contact with an infected animal. But how exactly does this transmission occur? Let's dive a little deeper. The most common method of transmission is through a bite from a rabid animal. You see, the rabies virus resides in the saliva of infected animals. When an infected animal bites another, the virus is transferred through their saliva into the wound. It's a direct and, unfortunately, effective mode of transmission. Now, you might be wondering, why saliva? The answer lies in the nature of the virus itself. The rabies virus is a crafty little organism. Once it enters a host, it travels through the nerves to the brain, where it multiplies rapidly. From there, it descends to the salivary glands, positioning itself perfectly for transmission to the next unfortunate host. However, bites aren't the only means of transmission. Although much less common, the virus can also spread through scratches from an infected animal, or even through open wounds. Any contact with the saliva of an infected animal poses a risk. Imagine a scenario where an infected dog licks an open wound or broken skin. That's another potential pathway for transmission. What about transmission from dogs to humans, you ask? Yes, that's also possible, and is the same mode of transmission, through bites, scratches, or contact with saliva. That's why it's crucial to take precautions around unfamiliar animals, and ensure our pets are vaccinated. It's also worth noting that the virus doesn't survive long outside a host. It's quickly killed by sunlight and desiccation. So, indirect transmission, like touching a surface an infected animal has drooled on, is extremely unlikely. In the end, the key takeaway here is that preventing exposure to rabid animals is the first line of defense against canine rabies. By understanding how transmission occurs, we can better protect our furry friends and ourselves from this deadly disease. The good news is, canine rabies is preventable. Yes, you heard that right. Despite the often grim prognosis, canine rabies doesn't have to be an inevitable fate. The key lies in prevention, with vaccination playing a crucial role. Vaccines are an incredible tool in our fight against this deadly disease. They work by stimulating the immune system, teaching it to recognize and fight the rabies virus. When administered properly, they can provide years of protection for our furry friends. So, ensuring your pet is up to date on their rabies vaccination isn't just a legal requirement in many places, it's a critical step in keeping them safe. But the responsibility of prevention doesn't stop at vaccination. It extends to the broader concept of responsible pet ownership. This includes regular veterinary checkups. These visits are about more than just vaccines. They allow your vet to monitor your pet's overall health, spot any potential issues early, and provide advice on keeping your pet safe from rabies and other diseases. Control measures also play a significant role in prevention. This might mean keeping your pet on a leash when outside, especially in areas where wild animals are known to roam. Remember, rabies isn't exclusive to dogs. It can be carried by a variety of mammals including raccoons, bats, and foxes. Avoiding contact with these wild animals can help reduce the risk of your pet contracting the disease. Equally important is educating ourselves and others about rabies. The more we understand about this disease, the better equipped we are to prevent it. So, let's continue to learn, to share, and to take action. Preventing canine rabies isn't just about protecting our pets. It's about safeguarding our communities, our families, and ourselves. It requires effort, vigilance, and a commitment to responsible pet ownership, but the payoff is immeasurable. Healthier, happier pets and a safer world for us all. Together, we can make a difference in the fight against canine rabies. Let's recap what we've learned about canine rabies. This fatal disease, caused by a virus that attacks the nervous system, is a serious concern for dogs and their owners. It's marked by an array of symptoms, from changes in behavior to severe aggression and even paralysis. The transmission is primarily through the bite of an infected animal, but it's not limited to that. It can also occur through scratches or when infected saliva comes into contact with open wounds. Prevention is always better than cure, especially when there's no cure available. Vaccination plays a key role in protecting dogs from this disease. Moreover, maintaining a safe distance from wild or stray animals, and prompt medical attention if a dog is suspected to have been exposed to rabies can significantly reduce the risk. Remember, timely action can protect your dog and your family from this fatal disease. Stay safe, and keep your pets safe too.